Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Wichita Vice.
Yeah.
Hey, yeah.
All right, we got
Chris with a K.
Marquez.
Jess.
Cameron.
and your host, Carlos, in the house. All right, so, hey, Jesse, you want to give out a quick shout-out to our audience?
Yeah, hey guys, thanks for tuning in. Really appreciate it and hope you enjoy the show.
Likewise.
Yeah, thanks for tuning in, guys. I really appreciate it. All your support is a great help, and we couldn't do this without you, so thanks for tuning in.
Hey, I want to give a shout out to Eric and Andrew, the crew, and getting us our place here. And as always, everyone out there in cyberspace, like and subscribe. Thanks for watching.
All right, thank you, guys. Yeah, I want to give a quick shout-out to my family. Thank you, guys. Thank you to you guys for being here. And, of course, Andrew and my nephew, Powell, for making it happen, you guys. And, yeah, we'll get the show rolling. All right, so let's talk a little bit about the upcoming shows that we're going to have. We have Quantum Unveiled. That's about to be unveiled pretty soon. We also
It's gonna be
have...
interesting.
Oh, yeah, indeed it is.
Looking forward to it.
And we also have Anime Insomniac.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So-
Super stoked for that.
Yeah.
And then also we have the Silver Cosmo movie reviews.
Hey.
Yep.
And for all our fishing and outdoor adventurists, we have a new show called Eric's Fly Fishing Adventures.
Now, I'm not a fisherman. I'm not a fisherman, Carlos. So what is Eric going to be doing in that? Is that something that someone like me that doesn't know what's going on is going to be doing? Get something out of, or?
Well, overall, he's going to talk to us about basic fly fishing. And
Okay,
also
so
what we're going to
basic.
do is overall more outdoor adventures. We're going to do is sceneries in Kansas.
Some of this beautiful wildlife around here, huh?
The lakes.
That's some good stuff.
Future
It really
Kansas.
is. There's some good stuff.
So, well, yeah, we'll look forward to Eric giving us a little bit more of that insight. So, real quick, we want to give a quick thank you to our following sponsors.
Hey everyone, it's time to put new life into your painting with Chris Arredondo. Call him for all your painting needs, indoor and outdoor. Make all your things look new with Chris. Call him at 316-992-6434. That's New Life Painting with Chris Arredondo.
All right, everyone, welcome back. So, we're going to go ahead and discuss about our Marvel hero and DC villains of the month. And first one up is Black Widow.
Yeah.
Nice.
All right, Black Widow. So, let's talk a little bit about Black Widow. So, she was created by Stan Lee, Don Rico, and Don Heck. She premiered in the episode of Tales of Suspense, issue number 52 in 1964. So, a little bit about her. It shows here that she is a spy tactician. She is a martial artist. And also, she's a weapons expert. Now, she's been portrayed in the MCU, Scarlett Johansson, which, by the way, guys, we know she's going through her little legal,
Yeah.
which has no
it's-
part of Black Widow
Right.
Okay.
itself. So let's go ahead and start that off with Chris. So what do you know about Black Widow?
Pretty much just what we've seen most recently, really. She's come some of the older cartoons she's been a part of. Very heavy, typical Russian accent during those. I feel like
Yeah.
in a lot of the cartoons, I liked how Johansson incorporated that, but didn't lean onto it too much, and they were able to bring that accent back to just her regular accent. I don't know a whole lot more about her. Does anyone know much about the Tales of Suspense? What that series was? Was there a bigger hero involved, or was that just a general?
Oh, I think personally, that's how she got famous. How she became, how she got involved with the Avengers was through her relationship with Clint Barton, Hawkeye.
Right.
I think that's something in the recent movies I wish they would have touched on a little more, is her and Hawkeye's relationship and how that whole thing unfolded. And if anyone here has watched the Avengers movie, when they were fighting the Chitauri invasion, she said, "This is like the Budapest," and he said, "You and I remember Budapest very differently."
Yeah.
I thought they were going to touch on that. At some point in the Black Widow movie, I thought that was going to be mentioned. That was going to be
They
referenced.
did a little bit in there because she was talking to Yelena. I don't know that it was Budapest particularly, but it was definitely some references to various of their prior. Just Clint was brought up several times.
Yeah, and she's I'm sorry, I don't mean to
I was
cut
just
you off.
saying they've mentioned that Yelena is going to be coming into the Hawkeye series with Clint. I think they'll bring up some more of that past relationship, maybe in that flashbacks or
Yeah,
further conversations. Hey, I didn't know my sister, but you did, type of deal.
yeah. That's an interesting dynamic to me.
Could be.
The
That's.
Hawkeye.
I mean, who knows with that?
So
Basically, they're kept in the dark on those Disney stuff.
So
Yeah.
I think coming kind of what we were speaking previously before we started the podcast about the movies versus comic book canon, what is the legitimate going forward? Obviously, the movies are going to be going forward. If they would have had the technology they had, comic books were written,
Yeah.
I'm sure they would have done movies then as well. But obviously, there's always going to be the back and forth. But I'm curious to see if that's the next step. Are they going to take Black Widow and Hawkeye and make that a separate spin-off thing? Are they going to do Hawkeye next and then put them together? Or
Yeah.
what's the next step here? I mean, where do you
Good
think they
question.
go from here?
Well, we know that they have already announced that Hawkeye is going to have his own TV series.
Right.
So that's already in motion already. But back to that question here, Chris, that you're saying, in the comic books, Hawkeye and Black Widow, they were a pair.
Well, I thought
But
Hawkeye brought her out of the Widow
the-
Society.
Of through the red, what were they called? The red
The Red Room.
Yeah.
room.
Yeah.
Now, but we know that Black Widow, she was a double agent. So she was working with the Russian government. She was also working for Hydra. And when you watch the 90s, I don't know if you guys remember the 90s Spider-Man. She was kind of corny in that
Yeah.
show.
Yeah.
But she pretty much did everything that Nick Fury asked her to do.
Yeah.
So I was watching that, and I was just watching her chasing around Spider-Man. Up in that, what was that? What was their ship called? They did it in the movie.
Helicarrier.
The Helicarrier, yeah.
Yeah.
Which she portrayed very well in that Captain America, the Winter Soldier.
Yes,
we did discuss
she-
about this
Yeah.
last
That was
episode.
that was a good movie.
But overall, in her fighting, out of the Avengers, her and Hawkeye and Iron Man had the weapons and technology. Now, Black Widow, with her martial arts, because she did a good job portraying in the Avengers, the movie itself.
Mhm.
But in the comic books and everything, she holds her own.
Oh,
Touching the hand-to-hand combat.
definitely.
And,
Oh, definitely. And she does use tech. Her stingers, her
Yep.
her
Small
batons.
amounts, but
Yeah, it's not like she doesn't use that as a crutch. Like I don't want to say if Iron Man's really crutch, but he said it himself. It's a prosthetic. But no, she does. Yeah, she can hold her own. Yeah, there's make no mistake. She the only thing that, like I say, that I didn't like about the movie Black Widow was I wish they would have flushed out a little more things that were referenced in other movies, like because she in the Winter Soldier she said she had run-ins with him before. She had a scar on her
could have
side.
easily had some more flashbacks.
Yeah, that would
Right.
have been a nice touch, for that.
I do wonder if going forward we kind of see her. I think they're going to give her this big spotlight right now, and my biggest concern with her is watching her get phased out because she doesn't have that shock and awe value of a Thor or a Hulk, where
Well-
Hulk is seriously overdue for a movie. But I'm hoping the Hawkeye show comes out, and I'm really hoping that they keep her in the mainframe here because I think she's a much more she's easier to assimilate with.
Yeah,
It's
She
a
is
much
a
more.
person.
Yeah, she
Not
is
a
a
god
human
or an
yes,
alien or
exactly. Her
She's
most
a basic
powerful
person.
form is based on outside factors. And I
Hard
think-
work.
Right.
Well,
Yeah.
mostly. I guess there's a lot of other
so we
painful
we,
things.
we could talk about a little bit like in the MCU. So when she was introduced in Iron Man 2, they introduced her pretty well. I liked how she was giving her evaluation of Iron Man, talking about, because they were doing that Avengers, what was that project called? What was it called? Initiative, the
Yeah,
Avengers
Initiative.
Initiative.
Yeah.
And that was a good job on the MCU, on Disney, introducing that. Now, the thing is with the portrayal of Scarlett Johansson in the Black Widow, they could have done a little bit more. I just felt like they kind of rushed, kind of just throw in there. And I know that with the COVID and how it pushed production, and that got all messed up, I just felt that to us is like, okay, well, we already know that she's not going to make it because she ended up.
Is she not? It's a comic book. I mean, how many people come back to life when they've
that's
been
the
dead?
thing. In order for a death to really be impactful, they have to die in a way that they are not coming back.
And you got to see the body.
You have to, and that's the
You got to
You
see
have
the
to see
body.
Didn't I see her in Endgame? She was kind of down there.
She just went off. You just see her disappear.
Didn't she literally lose her soul?
That's what they said, but
to get the stone, you have to.
But we don't know what happened after Tony put that glove on wherever she was.
Right. Well, and look at how souls are impacted in that universe.
Sure.
Look at the Asgardians. They're technically gods. I mean, they are gods. They've been known for thousands of years. But the trolls are there. The Jotuns are there. I mean,
Perhaps she just
Frost
moved
giants.
to another
Yeah.
dimension along the line.
I'm willing to accept if they do the Hawkeye when they do the Hawkeye show, introduce Black Widow. Well, because Black Widow is not just one identity in the comic books. Black Widow's a group.
Sure.
So let's just say that her sister. If they introduce the sister going forward, I'm okay with that. But we already know that the next phase of Marvel, it's going to be the quantum realm, another universe, the multiverse. So that, because think about it, all those shows going forward, they're not going to focus so much on the Avengers.
Right.
They focus more like from Doctor Strange, from Ant-Man, Spider-Man. Because even speaking of Spider-Man, did you see a little bit of clips of the new Spider-Man? I guess they're introducing all this.
Seen that yet.
They're introducing Tobey Maguire back.
They're bringing all three of them: Andrew Garfield, Tobey Maguire, and the new guy.
Garfield, right? Andrew Garfield. Or are you talking about
Tom Holland?
Tom Holland, yes, thank you. Which I think all three of them honestly did great in their respective areas.
Yeah.
But do you guys think that Scarlett Johansson is the Black Widow going forward? I mean, are we kind of looking at like a Falcon transition into the Captain America
transfer to Yelena.
You think it's maybe too much money to keep
There's been a lot of rumors about the Dark Avengers.
Yeah, that's in
coming
fact
along and replacing the Avengers for a little while.
Right.
Yeah. In fact, the Dark Avengers comic was such an interesting. They had Red Hulk as the Hulk. They got Ares to be
Anti-hero.
Thor. They got actually got Venom to be Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm. Which is
U.S. agent.
Tom
U.S.
Hardy's
agent was
been
Captain
Which
America.
that brings up a whole new subject of the movies versus the comic books, because Venom is not a good person. He is not a good guy.
He did for a brief moment in the 90s become an anti-hero.
Right.
He had his own series called Lethal Protector, and I have all the books.
Right.
But
if you look at his collective whole, he is...
No, he's rotten to the core.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's one of those things where he's popular. They've made him into the anti-hero now for the movies, which I absolutely love. I think it's great. I really enjoy it. But once again, do we go back to this, or what do we do here? What is the future of this with these heroes that can't necessarily compete on a cosmic level?
Team ups,
right?
Series,
essentially,
I did like in the Black Widow movie the focus on a little bit of her childhood and the bringing in of her quote unquote parents, and I thought David Harbour.
The Red Guardian,
was just
he was great.
I'm a fan of him anyway from his other works, Stranger Things. I thought he was a really good Hellboy too. I liked him as Red Guardian. I hope he comes back somewhere. I hope they can fit him back in there. I don't know.
That movie got terrible reviews. I enjoyed it. Yeah,
I know.
I
it was a good
legitimately enjoyed it.
It was a good movie. Don't get me wrong. It wasn't a massive blockbuster hit or anything.
I think all the Hellboys were good, to be honest with you.
Honestly,
It's a great character. It's just, funny. And
was it that Golden Army was the second one, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that one kind of fell off, but then this one is
it's a
reboot. Yeah, the reboot. It's R-rated.
That's going to be huge. That's a big deal nowadays.
Yeah, I think it is. I think the rating is,
You miss out on a lot of content. I mean, some
I think
of
it's
these
pushing now to, especially with the success DC's had on their stuff. Pushing. Even Disney's talking about maybe we're going to start a new channel for R-rated comic books or mature comic shows.
That's the biggest issue that Disney has right now, is that when they're putting this stuff out, now granted they do hit a larger demographic because their stuff isn't necessarily as grimy or great. It's not much of a Sin City kind of thing, you know what I mean? It's definitely a larger demographic, but I do wonder, Black Widow is kind of dark and grimy. I would like to see her.
Yeah,
I would love to see her get.
They're
back
joking
into that.
about them being basically having hysterectomies as children, and they're making jokes of those things, which is a pretty dark
That's terrible. Yeah, that's horrible.
scary.
Yeah,
I did-
heard about that in real life.
I don't-
You'd be
what
like,
did-
oh my god.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, because also in the movie, I thought Taskmaster, that was the most interesting concept I've seen on it. I know some people say, well, it's all woke because it's a girl and it's traditionally been a guy.
Yeah, the whole gender swapping thing.
That was odd.
To me, it
Just
because at first you
unnecessary.
couldn't tell. You couldn't
Well, and
tell.
I think
mean,
that was
it
the
just-
point.
They didn't really show you. There was no features, feminine features.
Yeah, the armor's just straight up.
Yeah.
Well, since you guys touched up on it, well, might as well finish it up. The second person coming up is the villain of Marvel, Taskmaster.
Okay.
So there we go. So let's just brief talk about Taskmaster. So it was created by David Michelinie. I believe that's how you say the last name. I apologize if I said your name wrong. And George Perez. Taskmaster appeared on issue number 196 of the Avengers.
Yeah.
Okay, so Taskmaster is an assassin for hire. He's also a tactician. One of the unique things that he has is he has photographic reflexes, and he's a skilled martial artist. So in his powers, when he was little, he had this gift of being able to remember how people would fight, do things. And then in the comic book, not MCU, but in the comic book, when this was during World War II and everything, a Nazi scientist injected him of the super soldier serum, and it enhanced his abilities. But one of the downfalls is that he kept forgetting things.
Mm.
So
The photographic only stays for a while, is what you're saying. It's not a permanent.
but he's still able to mimic.
Mimic.
He can still mimic you and fight you. Now, remember, he's had his run-ins with one of our top heroes. So one of Captain America.
Yeah, Captain America. And I think he's the only person to beat, one of the few people to beat Captain America in a hand-to-hand combat. Yeah, Shang-Chi's the other one.
I mean, he's had his run-in in the comic books. He has his run-in with Wolverine.
Yeah, Wolverine.
Very
Daredevil.
limited group. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a very limited group that this guy interacts with. Kind of what I'm seeing here. Once again, he's kind of eliminated from the cosmic threat level. Once again, I think he comes back down in
He's more mercenary, I would say. Hired
Mm.
help. Not-
world level potentially, probably less so. Honestly, without forces behind him.
But with the movie, what I thought that was interesting is there's the relationship they made with the Widow Society, the Red Room, and that I could see again Dark Avengers. Like there was a friendship that happened at the end, and there's someone they're going to bring in as a
Yeah.
replacement for somebody.
Right.
I think she's the replacement for Black Widow. Ileana, I think she's going to replace Black
Yeah, I
Widow
do
in the
too.
Dark
Yeah.
Avengers. I mean, that's the premise. That's the setup.
Well,
right there.
I done a little bit of my research. Well, they're going to do. Marvel's already introducing the Thunderbolts, and in that group, Taskmaster is in that group.
Okay.
Okay.
So that there's a start there. But we just discussed a little bit ago. Now, Taskmaster is known as Tony Masters,
Yeah.
but in this movie, it's a girl.
Yeah, it's one of the people, I think Natasha, she burned down her house unintentionally.
It was
Or
the
she was-
Red Room's
Yeah.
director's daughter, and Tasha used her to get to him, basically, but
Yeah,
tried to
yeah.
blow them all up.
Exactly.
And
So
only
that's
really
it.
got the girl.
So I
Yeah.
don't think anybody necessarily has an issue with them switching the gender. It just seems kind of unnecessary, right? I mean, it just seems like a
Yeah.
move that didn't have a lot of canonical backing to it. I don't have an issue with it in any way. It's fine. Do whatever you want to do. Like I said, we're going to get to this point where the movies are the new canon. The comic books are going to start becoming more of a thing of the past, more of a collector's edition kind of thing, and the movies are going to be what we go forward with. So I don't
Yeah.
have an issue with it. It just seemed unnecessary. In my
Yeah,
opinion.
I'll have to
Certainly
agree.
could have been. Now, depending on what they do forward,
Right.
perhaps
See, that's
go-
the biggest
looking
factor.
back, oh, I see why it had to be
Right.
an association with the Red Room, maybe. I don't
Right.
know.
I'm not sure they'll address it. I mean, to that point, to that degree, I don't think they'll. Okay, if
Well, I mean,
if
where they
was-
bring her into if they're
Yeah.
going to use her for in the future, how does
Right.
she
like
attach
she's an
to these
enhanced widow agent. That's what I
Right.
got the sense they were trying to do in the movie.
See,
Just
and
make her
this
some
is-
sort of enhanced widow agent. The Taskmaster. I mean, that ability alone will make you unbeatable in a fight, with the exception, like I say, unless you're fighting someone that can teleport or has a hammer.
Right. A cosmic level threat.
Yeah, but yeah.
But I think I think we're looking at a clean slate here. I think we're going to bring in a whole new generation of avid superhero. And I'm actually really excited to see it. So once again, maybe not necessary, but I think for the clean slate, I think that's really what we're looking at here, and I think it'll be definitely interesting. I think we'll be seeing the old heads like us will notice the comic book references more so, and I think they're going to go forward more with their Stan Lee gone now, rest in peace. I think it's time. I think we're kind of looking at that. I think Black Widow was a really good introduction into that because it's very relative. I think Taskmaster would be very relatable. It's an inherent world threat. We're not talking about Galactus or anything where it's like, okay, that's an amazing cinematography. We did that with Endgame and everything like that. I think now we're going to start seeing really good foundation build back up with these shows, these series, and these. I'm actually really excited for.
Me too.
Yeah, I was when I was reading the comic books, and I caught on to one of them on Taskmaster. Anyone ever figured out why Taskmaster has a skull on
special operations, most likely?
Yeah.
Well, it goes here that he was trained. He had an academy. He was training people. He's trained Captain America. So it's kind of like he plays double edge here because he's training the good guys, he's training bad guys. But here, the mask it goes that he trained an elite group of Mexican cartels, and they came to his academy, and they celebrate there. If I'm not mistaken, guys, it's the Day of the Dead, the skulls and all that. So he took on that skull on his mask. That's why going forward, that was his mask, was the skull representing training that cartel. Now it goes to show that the leader of that group was actually an ex-SHIELD agent.
Okay.
That's in the comic book. So it goes into another story, but they don't touch that up on the MCU. So I didn't know about that.
I had no idea. That's
I watched
cool.
The Ultimate Spider-Man, and there was an episode where Spider-Man teamed up with Deadpool, and Taskmaster, when he saw Deadpool,
he was like, "Oh, yeah, I saw that episode."
Because Deadpool, he cannot mimic Deadpool's moves
because
he's
he
so
fights
unpredictable.
Unorthodox. Yeah, that's another way you could overcome.
Plan his moves at all.
I'm really curious
Totally
to see
reactive.
where Taskmaster goes next. Obviously, they're setting this up for an
Hopefully.
introduction. I mean, it very much looks like it. I would love to see what is the introduction of this Taskmaster. Is it Dark Avengers? That would be awesome. That would be great. But I also think that an individual introduction here, maybe not even an origin story, maybe something later on down the road with Taskmaster would be great as well. So I'm very curious to see what the next move is for the characters, their introduction. Are we going to look at more shows, which I think are very expansive? They cover a lot more area. We get a lot more out of the show than we
Every
do.
time.
And Cameron, you did a good point here. You spoke on a real good point. How about this? In what movie was it? Civil War, when Crossbones was introduced for a little bit.
Yep.
Now Crossbones is a
Captain
real
America,
good enemy here. I mean, he
Yeah.
gave Captain America a hard time. Now, how about this? How about if they did was maybe Mary Hill, one of the agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., does a spin-off and have Mary Hill and a group of S.H.I.E.L.D. go against Taskmaster themselves.
I
If
would
you want to
really
do a
enjoy it,
TV
yeah.
series, because like the Falcon and Winter Soldier, that was well put.
Yes, I love
Disney
that
did
show.
a real good
I
job
love
on that.
show. Yeah.
So maybe that's something we can touch up on, but we'll just have to see what happens.
I think they're also really liking the freedom that they have to be like, hey, this was just a limited series, 6 episodes. We
Right.
don't have to keep paying our movie stars.
Yep.
We've progressed the story. We can tell someone else the story and also get very in depth in those 6-hour episodes.
Yeah.
The biggest issue they have now is that they've made this massive cinematic universe. I mean, Endgame, Infinity War was amazing. The cinematography alone, even if you didn't necessarily like the story, the movie was still worth the watch just to see CGI and everything that they've done with it. The problem is I think the writers are excited that I'm the writer for this comic now. I'm making a show. I am making the canon for this character at this point. But how long can we get away without a cinematic masterpiece? That's the balance that they're going to have to find here. Is you're going to start losing a lot of interest when you're not putting out
in the movies,
Right.
which is where their money is.
So
Exactly.
they've raised the bar so high
Yes.
that anything beneath that is going to be considered a failure.
Well, not
For the most
necessarily.
part. For the most, it's like, say for instance, like one of the things I always say when people say, "Well, the original was better," or "This is better," "The book is
Right.
better," is that there was no precedent set at the time the original was
Exactly.
introduced to you.
Yep.
So you had no bar to jump over. Now
And
that
now
the
they've already
precedent
had
has been
it.
set,
Yep.
of course the original is better.
Right.
Of course the book is better because there are no time restraints, there's no budget constraints, scheduling conflicts.
Right.
Also, a lot like
So of course a
Yep.
book is going to do better.
writing a
Right.
book, you've
You know,
got three,
but-
4 people looking at it, and making a movie, you've got 30,
Yeah.
50, 100
Right.
people that are.
Not only that, you run into, like he said, they've built this huge universe. They've worked so hard getting to this point. Now staying there, like he said, it's going to be interesting to see where they go.
Well, from a writing standpoint,
here.
you have to see these shows are great. Like I said, if I was writing for one of these shows, we look at these original creators, and they will always be the original creators. of these
Yeah.
characters.
Definitely.
But right now, the person writing, Hawkeye's show, this is the guy who is making Hawkeye. This is who Hawkeye is now. I think we have to come
Yeah.
to terms with that this is the Hawkeye of the future. There may still be comic books and things like that, but I don't know how much the original writer, from 1960 something, is going to be involved with this project, if at all.
Yeah.
I mean, Stan Lee's passed away.
Right. So
RIP,
Stan Lee's gone. Yeah. So
He's
we're
created
looking at
a lot of
whole
them.
new generation of writers. These are the fanboys. These are the original fanboys now. So from a writing perspective, yes, this is amazing. It's great. And for those of us who are truly intuitive and really enjoy the new facet that is coming forward with these characters, it's great for us. But for the casual fans and listeners, which there's absolutely nothing wrong with,
No.
they're going to want that shock and awe value.
Yeah.
They're going to want, they're going to want that big, cinematic experience where I go into the IMAX theater and I watch this massive battle with spaceships flying around and Iron Man does the coolest thing of all time and snaps his finger. I mean, it's that's what they're going to want. So you have to find this balance of going to the true hardcore fans. And I think Taskmaster and Black Widow are a great way to do that.
Cameron, again, you're right on the money here. Look at these writers going forward. They can take the Marvel encyclopedia, open it, and say, hey, we have not talked about this character. We haven't talked about this character. And what they're doing a great job, Disney is itself, is starting to introduce, like you said, Taskmaster. They're introducing characters that we didn't even think of. Like Jessica Jones, when they introduced Kilgrave, the Purple Man. The Purple Man.
The Purple Man, yeah.
It goes to show that they're making sure they're trying to reach out to people. What was Luke Cage in second season? It was Bush. What was his name?
Bushmaster.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
the refoundation of
Yeah.
these comics. We're looking at the transition into the modern era here. It's not going to be
definitely.
on these comic books, so we have to rebuild this, and it's going to alter with modernization. Of course, obviously something wrote in the 60s is going to have a different premise, not completely, but to some extent in the modern era. And movies and shows, movies and shows are a great way. The stuff in the 60s that they were writing about that was top secret, high tech, stuff. It's kind of like stuff that's in my pocket, right?
Yeah,
You know what I mean? It's stuff that's easily accessible to everybody. I mean, these
Yeah.
microphones and stuff in the 60s would have been, unheard of. They never would have been heard of, and now they're readily available,
Do you know who Taskmaster's main rival would have been? I mean, obviously they made it Black Widow here for this movie. Most
The
recently,
original
but,
antithesis.
But really, because you said he beat
Captain America.
Captain America, was that a constant rival, or is he pretty much just whoever needs a good butt whooping, I'm going to show up and
He's the throw-in
Well,
guy.
He's for hire.
Yeah,
Right.
he's
And
for
also,
hire.
he plays like Venom.
Yeah.
He's like anti-hero. He's
See,
an
I don't know if
anti-hero.
he's in anyone's rogues gallery per se. I know he appeared in the Avengers, but I don't know if there was one individual that
really recurred.
He's not a Lex Luthor to Superman.
No,
Sure.
no, he's not.
Cameron, hey, well, So that's the Marvel side, you guys. We took care of the Marvel side. Now let's go on.
Should have
go
like
on
a
and
ding bell for
ding bell. That's what we'll do on the next
secret
next
word
episode.
said.
All right, so let's go ahead and move on over to the DC. So we're going to start off with the villain, Lex Luthor.
Yes.
Yeah, that's
So many incantations.
Yes, there have been.
so. Let's
And
just
well done on very many of them.
Well, and we're going to talk about that. So okay, so Lex Luthor was created by Jerry Siegel and Joe Shuster.
Yeah.
Yep.
In that comic book, Action Comics, issue number 23,
Yeah.
back in 1940. So a little bit about Lex Luthor. So I'm going to go ahead and let Marquez start it off here. Tell me a little bit about Lex Luthor.
He started out as just a red. He had a full head of red hair, and he was basically a scientist that grew up alongside Clark Kent in Smallville. He originally had a lab that Superboy, which was what Clark Kent went by in Smallville at that time, destroyed his lab, and Lex thought that he did it because he was jealous of him, and he lost all of his hair. That was the whole. And
Hey, I
So-
can speak to it.
So wasn't
Was this the-
yeah. Wasn't he originally portrayed as like a really narcissist, like
Yeah.
an egotistical mad scientist?
Yes,
And then in the
initially.
80s, they made him more of like the
Well, they changed him.
Lex Corp.
Yeah, the evil billionaire
Yeah.
genius type of guy. That was after
Evil Batman, basically.
Yeah, that didn't come around till later. I think after Crisis on Infinite Earths, that was when we got the Lex Luthor that we all know.
Right.
I like to go ahead and bring up one of my favorite iterations of Lex Luthor. It's a guy, they called him Apex Lex. It's where Lex Luthor got the powers of the Martian Manhunter.
Oh, wow.
And it was
yeah,
just an
yikes.
awesome. He briefly tried to become a
Yikes.
hero. There was another one that I really enjoyed during the Blackest Night event where Lex Luthor got the Orange Lantern Ring, which is the power of avarice, which is selfishness, and he used that to fight the Black Lantern.
Oh, he'd be unstoppable.
Yeah,
Oh,
Lex
yeah,
Luthor.
yeah.
Selfish.
And only one
Right.
person had it. He was the only Orange Lantern there was.
Well, the thing I like
It was-
about Lex here is that, as you're kind of alluding to here, is that he goes from a very world level threat to a cosmic level threat very quickly.
Just from his will and his
Yeah,
intellect.
he
The way
is so intelligent.
it's one of the things I like about this villain as a nemesis to Superman. A lot of times when people have abilities, whether it be technology, magic, it's not really the scope of their abilities, it's how they use their
Right.
abilities that makes all the difference. And I think as a villain, Lex Luthor, the way he uses his mind, his evil genius, that's what sets him apart from a lot of other villains.
He's adaptive. I think.
Oh,
is the
very
biggest thing.
adaptive.
Whereas most of them get stuck in this, section of this is what I do it every single time. Lex shows up different every single
Yeah.
time.
Just
Superman
kinda
can't
branches
prepare.
out.
Yeah, and it's like Batman, he's always prepared.
Right.
He's overly prepared.
Yeah, he does
And
turn
that's-
into evil Batman essentially. As we get obviously
Yeah, he's-
differences, but
yeah.
essentially, yeah, he's the billionaire, playboy, philanthropist. But I'm gonna do bad stuff.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah, I
gonna
know,
do good
yeah.
stuff.
Were
so.
there ever instances of Batman, because Batman always had kind of a contingency on Superman, that they ever got together? I feel like I saw some,
Yeah.
maybe very light in
Yeah,
some
I think
shows.
Batman,
or something,
Superman,
but-
Public Enemies in the comic book. That's where Lex Luthor and Batman actually had a run in, and they did an animated movie also based on Public Enemies too. Batman, Superman, Public Enemies. I think I have it somewhere. I have to look in my 400 DVD collection.
It'd be a very interesting perspective to see them going at each
Well,
other.
and even
Yeah.
in Batman versus Superman, the movie, there was some push from Lex Luthor to angst Batman into, like, he was tricking Batman into fighting, because Batman doesn't trust Superman originally,
Right.
and he's
Wow.
and Lex Luthor's trying to push that
Yeah, he-
distrust
he
in the
fed
movie.
that. Now the actor.
Not that I was a big fan of that movie,
Well,
but I remember that storyline just being like,
I love Jesse Eisenberg. Don't get me wrong, but him as Lex Luthor, I thought, what?
yeah.
Wait, what?
More of a Joker type character, right?
Yes,
I mean,
he even
would have been
behaved like a
great-
Joker.
He would have been a great Joker, I
Yeah.
think, in that situation.
I really like 2.5 Man. What's that guy's name in the Supergirl series just recently?
Oh,
You know who I'm talking about?
I just saw
He's a
Supergirl.
big actor. 2.5.
Charlie Sheen.
Not Charlie
Not
Sheen.
Charlie-
The other
I was
guy.
gonna say
No, it wasn't Charlie Sheen.
Him as Lex Luthor.
Charlie Sheen is like,
Shouldn't have
Genius.
been brought up.
I mean, I guess let's do it. You know.
No, it's a great turn by the actor that the other brother in that. I'll have to look it up real quick.
So I'm
Oh.
Well,
actually
while he's looking at that, let's go
Can't
old
believe I
school
don't know
here.
it.
Remember, okay, so I'm gonna start off with the cartoon. Remember Super Friends,
Yeah.
and remember the Justice League. See how he was the leader, wasn't he? The Legion
Yeah,
of Doom.
of the Legion of Doom.
Yep.
Yeah, so he was the
yeah.
leader, and I know that he'd had to put people in check sometimes
Yeah.
when they were messing up. But they portrayed him really well in that. But now let's go a little bit further. Gene Hackman,
Yeah.
he played a very good Lex Luthor. And
Yeah.
because Richard Donner, that was a big role. The Superman movie, the 70s,
Yeah.
with Christopher Reeve. I just
Oh,
felt
yeah.
that Gene Hackman portrayed Lex Luthor really well with being smart, outwitting people. And remember that first interaction that he had with Superman?
Yeah.
Remember when he was using that, what was that, the voice, what was it called? He was speaking to Superman in that low frequency.
Yeah. And he said,
Oh,
"You're the
no,
only
we
one that can
can't
hear
hear
me." Now, back to what he said, though, or what I can't remember. It was him, but he set the precedent. That was the first time that we seen Lex Luthor on film.
right.
He
Well,
wasn't in any. Was he in? He wasn't
I
in
don't
the
think
old
he-
TV show
with George Reeves.
Yeah.
It was
I don't
good
think he
acting
was.
by him, but it was a terrible portrayal of Lex himself.
It was a
in
little
my
too
opinion.
campy, I thought, when
Right.
they brought
As
him
it
in.
relates to the comic, I guess.
Lex
you
is
could
not
see.
insane. I mean, obviously he's insane. He's a terrible human being, but he's not
No.
Joker, maniacal,
No, he
mind
is
gone,
not.
psychotic. He
The
is.
thing about Lex is evil. It's very structured and measured, whereas the Joker, it's just chaos. Just
Lex
do-
is the evil within human hearts. He is almost more terrifying because he is the evil that we
Calm.
can see on a daily basis. This
He's
is
the
the
serial
selfishness,
killer.
the narcissistic, the greed that we see within.
Well,
the minds of men.
speaking of that, Cameron, so the portrayal that was done by Kevin Spacey in that Superman Returns,
Yeah.
is that what you were trying to allude to?
That one's okay. Honestly, I thought that one was all right.
You better not say
Well-
Superman was all right, because he was terrible.
No.
I think that
they-
one was all right. I think Henry Cavill was a good Superman,
Way better.
but I
But-
think we need to look at something. To me, DC messed up in the sense that they should have done an introductory. This Batman versus Superman, like as their foundation for this new cinematic universe, was a terrible idea. Don't start with Justice League level stuff. Let's start with Superman and Lex, Batman, Joker. I mean, think about the Dark Knight series with Christian Bale and Heath Ledger.
Heath
Heath
Ledger,
Ledger,
yeah.
my opinion, is the greatest Joker we've ever seen. I thought he was amazing. A lot of people disagree with me. I understand that. That is totally okay. But I really enjoyed Heath Ledger as an actor, so I'm a little biased there as well.
Yeah.
But to me, I thought it was a great introduction, and if they would have built off of that, the biggest problem is that DC has the standard for changing their actors every they do.
They won't do a
series.
nine
Yes.
picture deal.
Well, let's
Right.
take it all the way back here. Christopher Nolan set the bar high
Right.
when he
Yeah.
did Batman, and so then
Tim Burton set the bar
Well,
pretty
okay,
high,
well,
too.
well, hold on. That's apples and oranges kind of comparison. Hold on. I'm saying, okay, let's just stay focused here. What I'm saying is that when Christopher Nolan did that Batman, when he got with Zack Snyder to say, hey, we're going to go ahead and start because Zack Snyder did Man of Steel.
Mhm.
So he goes, okay, hey, you know what? Let's carry on. Let's get the Batman and Superman together. And that goes back to your point, Cameron. I felt that when they went in, they were just trying to throw everybody
Right.
in. It was just
Yeah.
too much of a cluster.
We
It was.
need
And
a
that-
Superman versus Lex Luthor again. He is the original antithesis of Superman,
Yeah,
if I'm saying
absolutely.
that right. I think
Yeah.
that's right.
Like, let's do it in the cartoons. Like Lex Luthor builds up his suit. You know how he had the kryptonite and things like that. I didn't like the whole Lex Luthor just outwitting him. That's like there's no competition
okay,
there.
but
I mean,
okay, when you look at Superman's rogues gallery, we have what? Darkseid, Metallo, Bizarro.
Mostly out of this world.
Cosmic level
powers.
threats. I mean, that's
they're people that could physically match him. But the
Right.
fact that Lex doesn't really engage Superman on a physical level, until he gets his suit or whatever you want to call it, I would love to see something like that, like some
Right.
kind of.
which it's a cop out. I mean, the suit is kind of a cop out for him to
Oh,
compete physically with him. Lex's
Yeah.
true potential is the fact that he can outsmart. That is where Lex truly
But you could
shines.
argue that building a suit,
Is a part of
I
agree,
like
yeah.
Iron Man. I mean, you could say
Right.
people say that's not a superpower, but then again,
Nobody else did it. You
Yeah,
know what I mean?
so, you know.
No, I agree with that.
yeah,
John Cryer was the name of the actor from Supergirl, from the CW universe, playing Lex Luthor currently.
That's the one that was
John
the
Cryer.
brother for
yeah.
Charlie Sheen.
Okay, I know.
Yes.
I totally forgot about
And,
that.
which he's usually a comic actor, which is nice. It's really,
Right.
if you're a fan of his work, he was in a lot of 80s movies.
Okay.
He's usually, like I said, comic relief, kind of the side guy. So it's really, I think he puts a really, really good spin on the Lex Luthor because he has that calm, and he's not as wispy as Eisenberg is. He's got a little bit more
Right.
to him, but there's still this intelligence and this behind his eyes thinking that you can see
Right.
that he's scheming, always scheming. And they do a lot of interesting stuff with him and make him a pretty big part of that Arrowverse CW
Yep.
Yeah,
DC,
and that was
which
another.
they've just brought Superman into. So maybe they'll get into that. I haven't seen that whole Superman and Lois, but he might come out in that.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
And that's another point I wanted to make, Carlos, real quick before we move on. One of the most underrated portrayals of Lex Luthor was the Smallville. The guy in Smallville, I think
Agreed.
Kevin Spacey was a mix between that and Gene Hackman.
Yep.
You know, I think that was I love that Lex Luthor, and that guy was also the voice of the Flash in Justice League Unlimited.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I have an interesting topic here. So Zack Snyder is clearly going to be the future of DC.
I hope so.
James
Yeah.
Gunn's putting his foot in there though,
Right.
too.
But they're showing that there is a future for DC right now, and they're kind of looking at the guys. They've kind of got the guys for it. We talked, they're not going to do a 9-series thing with a singular guy, but if you are going to,
Mhm.
who would you cast for Lex Luthor? I think he is somebody that you could put out there for 9 movies. I think he is that guy, but who do we put in that position?
Okay, I got one. If you want a super buff, bald, smart, like in the cartoon series of Superman, okay, I'm going to get some criticism for this, but Dave Bautista.
Dude, I don't know.
He's already
Really?
no, he's already in it. He's already in Marvel. I don't think you
but
can
Marvel, he could cross over to DC.
He's done with
because
Marvel.
he's done with Marvel after Volume
he?
3.
Okay.
But okay, listen, hold on before you guys
But Lex
start
isn't
making.
super buff,
hold
though.
on,
He's
hold
not
on, hold
super-
on.
Not big
Hey,
like that.
all right,
He's just
all right,
big
hold
guy.
on. Hold on.
Sorry.
Okay.
All right. To my defense, what I'm saying is that before you guys start making weird comments on YouTube and everything, if they go on that route, like I said, if you watch the Superman cartoons,
Mhm.
you saw that. Remember that Batman versus Batman and when they teamed up against Joker and Lex Luthor.
Yeah.
That cartoon series I'm talking about, he can portray that, but no, I wouldn't say go for him. But you can spin off Lex Luthor in any way you want it to be, but you just got to make it to where it matches against Superman to make it more sense.
It's actually more important that he is an opposite to whoever is playing Superman than that he is his own standalone individual, in my opinion, as far as the actor goes. You need somebody who can stand there, look Superman in the eyes,
Have
with
that
absolute
intensity.
no fear, and that perfect,
Yeah.
I'd like to see him come in as, and where we see the good to bad switch. Like you said, they were friends as
Yeah.
kids in the original stuff.
Smallville. Yeah.
So
Right.
maybe he comes in and he's trying to help do
Provide
something.
technology to
but
the
there's
world.
the switch. We see the switch happen where he goes, "Oh,
I think.
I can't be down with these aliens anymore.
Yeah,
I gotta
yeah,
He's a
something like
narcissist.
that.
He
I
is
gotta
truly a
clean this.
narcissist. He is going
I'm
to
the only
change.
one that can save this world." Because I
Right.
really think, like you said, he's a narcissist. I really think he does most of the time believe what he's doing. Ends justify the means, whatever it takes.
Right.
I'm going to save the world
Yep.
from these
In
aliens.
his own way. If it means I have to destroy the Amazon rainforest,
Yeah.
then I'll do it. He doesn't
It's
care how
justified
many
means.
lives it costs. Yeah.
I think
Machiavellianism.
Scott Eastwood would be my pick
Scott
for Lex
Eastwood?
Luthor.
Okay.
Yeah, if they I'm imagining him with a shaved head. It's really rough,
That's the hardest
calm,
part.
cold demeanor. You know what I mean? I think he has that look about him. I think Scott Eastwood would make a good Lex Luthor.
Or
So the
what
thing
about
that-
the Walter White character from Breaking Bad?
Yeah, he would.
Yeah.
Bryan
he'd be great.
Cranston?
Yeah,
Because he kind of has that.
he can put on an act.
Yeah.
like
man.
he
can-
pretends like,
he can throw it
everything's
down.
cool and just stab you, you know?
Yeah.
And you wouldn't
Yeah.
even know. You'd get a smile on his face.
yeah.
I think he'd be a good
he would
character
be.
for Lex Luthor.
Hayden Christensen.
So this person
He
is
has that
already
behind the guy that played Anakin
You're gonna
Skywalker.
go-
Oh,
Yeah, that
yeah.
would be all right. I can see that.
He'll come off too whiny.
what age you're going to bring him in.
Poor younglings. Poor younglings.
So my vote, and it sucks because this guy is already in the DCU, but I think he would be a portrayal if they would switch him over. Jared Leto. I think Jared Leto
Yeah.
would make a great Lex Luthor.
Rather than Joker.
Right. I think Joker. I think he's kind of known as the worst of the Jokers. No offense. I mean, it was good acting, but each
No
Joker
Joker.
has been different, and he was kind of like the tweaker Joker. Like,
Yeah,
he wasn't like
he's a little too
it just wasn't there for me. I guess.
disco. I
But
don't know.
I'm
Too
glad
flashy.
they saved him. I'm
Yeah.
glad they
Yeah.
saved him in the Snyder cut. That
Yeah.
Joker was more serious.
Well,
dark.
when he came in at that point,
But
yeah.
that's what
I
I'm
mean,
saying.
Yeah.
He would have made a great Lex Luthor, a dark, serious, intelligent appearance, very clean. Lex Luthor is very clean. He's well presented. You're not going to find
Yeah.
a nail out of place on Lex Luthor. You know what I mean? He's manicured, and he is flashy.
Yeah.
He's the
oh,
billionaire playboy. He, rides around in his $20
Benedict
million.
Cumberbatch.
Oh, yeah. Or
That would be
what
a
about
good one.
Joaquin Phoenix?
That would be a great one as well. There's a lot of options out there, and I
He's
really
really good
wish
actor.
they would just
Intense
please
actor.
pick something good and let's start this DC universe right.
Yeah.
Maybe perhaps just wrapping it up with Lex Luthor. What they could do is like grab all the villains from the other heroes and then gear it towards a Legion of Doom movie.
Right.
Go there, kind
Yeah.
of spin that off, and then because remember towards the end when they already had the Justice League going, they can figure out before they but continue on with Darkseid, they could do is start focusing on enemies in house.
Justice League versus Legion of Doom, the originations of each as they come up.
Yeah.
That's 9 movies a piece.
Yeah.
Easy. You're looking at an entire cinematic universe right
You
there.
can even do. You could bring in the hero and the villain of one movie, and then they split, and they're each into
Yep.
their leagues.
All right. Well, congratulations to Lex Luthor, big villain. All right. So next up, you guys, we got Booster Gold.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Booster Gold. It's like, who is Booster Gold? All right, well, he was created by Dan Jurgens. He issued in his first premiere comic book in 1986. So, Marquez, tell me a little bit about Booster Gold.
This character, he was a hero from the future. I forgot what century.
I think it's 2081 or
2081?
2181, something like
It's
that.
in the distant future, and he
Yeah.
used technology.
Pretty far, yeah.
Yeah, he used technology to become a hero, but he realized he couldn't compete with the heroes of that era, so he came back into the past. To his own words, he was a failure in the future, so he'd hoped that he'd go back to the past to be a hero, to be a success. His powers, they all stem from his suit and his, what's the robot AI that he
That's
has
what I
with
was
him?
just trying to look up.
It's
Zex.
very similar to like the kind of Tony Stark's Jarvis.
Yeah.
But it's not his
It's not
creation.
onboard.
Yeah.
It's external.
Yep.
It's not an onboard AI. It's an external.
Something he stole.
Yeah.
Well, that's the
What
thing
a
about-
hero.
He's a superhero that's a thief.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, that's the
Five
thing about
finger
Booster
discount.
Gold is that when we talk about being a hero, if you really had to sit there and you think of Superman per se, who is morally righteous in almost all standings, there's not really a lot of portrayals of Superman where he is what we would consider morally wrong by the general community. Booster Gold is kind of morally wrong, but
Yeah,
he does
is.
good things. He saves lives,
Yeah, he does.
but he's kind of a dick.
yeah.
Like, he
I
just-
mean, he was originally in it for the fame, pretty much. That was pretty
Right.
much his guiding. You know, whenever you look at a hero, one of the things I like to do, it's a fun thought exercise. It brings up the enjoyment level of comics. Is I try to look at what is the source of their motivation, what is the source of their willpower, what drives them. And I think Booster Gold in that regard is pretty unique. You know, he's a hero, but that normally a villain is driven by, Flash, the celebrity of being
Right.
a superhero. And I think that's what makes the character interesting from a narrative point of view. I think that'd be fun to write,
Right.
because you could put the worst aspects of yourself.
Yeah, I enjoyed
Things that
the
you-
comics. I really
Yeah.
did. They were.
See, I was always a fan of the comic books that Booster Gold appeared in, but I never really thought, okay, yeah, I want to go get a Booster Gold comic.
Right.
You know what I mean? That was never a thing. You know, I
He
think
was
I
an
might.
interesting additive, I think,
Yeah.
to the universe.
He made a good team better, but if you put Booster Gold on a bad team, I don't think he would do anything.
He's
For
more
a bad team, I don't think he'd help a bad team.
He's kind of like a bad Scarlet Witch, in my opinion. A lot of his abilities and stuff. It's pretty much all based on tech that he stole.
Yeah.
We've talked about from his time. He worked at a museum. I believe he was like
Yeah.
the night cleaner or the night security guard or something like that.
Yeah.
And
He was a quarterback and very athletic. He did have some
no, he was
physical
definitely
attributes, but
yeah.
yeah, he was a museum worker when he stole.
Yeah, and he stole basically. I think he actually stole one of Darkseid's suits or something like that.
Some stuff from the Legion of Superheroes.
Yeah, the
Very
Legion.
distinct from there.
Well, he's stolen.
Skeets is the name of that robot.
Skeets. I couldn't think of it.
okay.
Yeah, Skeets.
He's
yeah.
stolen heroes and villains technology. I know
Brainiac
that.
5's force field.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he kind of uses more of the parapsychic stuff, force fields,
Yeah.
but technology-based flight, stuff like that. He's not really, none of his stuff is inherent. He's not
No.
a superhero on his own. He's a celebrity more than anything.
Yeah, that's pretty
Personality, think of him like Johnny Blaze from Fantastic Four. He's
Yeah.
there for the show. You know what I mean? He's there for, look
Spotlight.
at me,
Yeah.
hey, look what
Yeah.
I did. He's the
The
guy who
fame.
shows up in a Lamborghini.
Trying to do those.
But Johnny Blaze is cool, though. He is cool.
Booster Gold is cool. He's just not,
Authentic cool.
it's,
Poser? Yeah, he does the right thing when it's necessary, but
Right.
he's not
Yeah.
here to save
Yeah.
the world. He's here to save the world because it makes him look good.
Yeah.
But he'll still save the world when it comes
Right.
down to it.
It helps him enhance his resume, probably.
he started
Yeah.
his own Justice League knockoff just to be the leader of something, and then when the Justice League invited him to join, he's like, "Yep, all right, I'm out. See you guys," and just left these and these were like serious B-rate heroes. These were people who could not function individually with larger threats, and he just kind of left them. And I think there's actually an instance where they kind of got. I think he had to save them at one point. Because I think after he left, I'm pretty sure they got into a serious altercation. I can't remember with who, a larger threat, and I think they got beat pretty bad. I wonder if one or two of them maybe died.
Well,
Wow.
speaking of that, Marquez, so has Booster Gold made any appearances in the DC universe? In any other shows?
Shows? Smallville? I think that's all I've seen him in.
There's actually
thus far.
a Arrowverse version from the Berlanti company. I just looked when I was trying to find Skeet's name. I saw come up. It's actually ready to go. They're just waiting to be able to release it.
Awesome.
Hmm.
Okay.
So it said it's 2.5 hours and they've got it ready to
a
go. and
movie?
He's fun.
That's what it said.
Wow.
He's just fun to add in there. It's kind of like what's the
And who knows how they're going to take, what road they're going to take.
what's the bounty hunter from Marvel? The
Lobo?
one- yes.
Oh no, that's DC.
No.
From
The
Marvel.
one from Marvel. It's Guardians of the Galaxy. They actually fight or work with him at one point. I can't remember who it is.
Oh, the one with the arrow that he's sending.
No. It's
no.
not in the
Yondu?
shows. It's not in the shows. It's in the comics.
He's a bounty
Oh
hunter.
God, what is his name?
Marvel. Not too familiar with Marvel's. Is he the cosmic bounty
It's a
hunter?
very. He's a small portrayal. I mean, he's more like he's just kind of an alien kind of thing. It's just something fun that they added in there. Booster Gold is kind of that character. He's fun to add in.
Yeah.
He's fun to add into other stuff. Not probably super great on his own.
No.
I don't think you would make a standalone show series. You might be able to do a series with Booster Gold, just future-based stuff, and then how he goes back. But you would always incorporate it into somebody else's story.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Flash would be a good one to incorporate him into with, Flash's time travel.
What about comparing him to someone like out of DC and Marvel, not in DC and Marvel, but something like the Comedian in Watchmen? Just that darkness to him.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he was cold.
Yeah.
Yeah, honestly, that's it's apt, but not 100%. It's
I'm a little biased because I love Jeffrey D. Morgan.
Yeah.
And he played the comedian
yeah.
Watchmen.
He's not the same. The Comedian, that movie was basically about the comedian. I mean,
Yeah.
he was kind of the one that everybody liked. It wasn't about him, I guess I should say, but he was the. You saw the comedian, you're like, oh yeah, I kind of like that guy. You know what I mean? He was just kind
He's
of
a central focus because of his past misdeeds as a hero.
exactly.
He was just a
Yeah.
badass.
He kind of took advantage of some of his female.
But Booster doesn't really
Yeah.
have like
That's true.
Booster's foundation is wrong, but he doesn't really have like past mishaps. He wasn't like murdering people. He wasn't like killing innocents or anything like that. He was genuinely doing the hero act.
So
But it was an act.
So Cameron, are you saying that so has he overall been with the Justice League? Because I've never seen him in
a short amount of time. He's with the Justice
Okay. Is he close to any of those heroes?
Not that I ever saw.
Not really. He kind of plays a role in like different one. He's the filler guy. He's the guy that's like, hey, we can't get our hero to beat this guy, so we're going to send this guy in to get beat up by him and then weaken him a little bit, and then Batman will finish him off after that.
I think the episode of Justice League I saw him in, it was crowd control. He was all upset because he was put on crowd control, and he wound up having to fight and save people. But
I saw that.
He's kind of like selfless unwillingly. Like he is kind of the guy, like he's doing the hero act. It's for selfish reasons, but he's doing it, and he kind of gets on. I mean, he's the other heroes. They kind of just throw him to the wayside a little bit. He's just a filler. He's really not really
He never really was. Even though he craved the spotlight, he never really got it.
Right. I mean, maybe at like a local. I mean, obviously, like if you were to meet a hero like that, you'd be like, "Oh my God, please, can I get your?" You know what I mean? Like it would be cool. But to other heroes, he's kind of like, don't sit next to him a bunch.
So I'm going to fact check myself when I mentioned the movie. Berlanti and that Arrowverse, they confirmed that the movie's in development. It's been written, but it's not moved since 2019. I assume that something happened.
It's probably
and COVID and who
probably
knows,
COVID.
They said it's written and ready to go though.
It's kind of like that. It's like
knock on wood.
The sequel to Shazam. It's already getting ready to go. It's just.
Has there been any word on that?
Yeah, it's coming. It's coming.
2023.
Did you see their new uniforms?
No.
Shazam. Yeah, they have a picture of Megan Good and the rest of the characters that are there. Different outfits.
Is The Rock? Is Dwayne Johnson's? Is he?
He's not going to be in that. He's doing his standalone.
He's doing it
first,
right? Just Black
Adam.
So
that's a
Black
discussion that's a discussion for another time.
Oh yeah, we got it.
All right,
that should be the next villain.
So just to wrap it up with Booster Gold. So overall, Booster Gold is just a character that we don't hear a lot.
Right.
So hopefully to the audience that they get opportunity to check him out, follow him. So. All right, you guys. Well, congratulations to them, and we look forward who's going to be the next Marvel and Hero villain of the month. And we'll go ahead and take a quick segment break.
Hey guys, here at Wichita Vice, it's time for our movie contest giveaway. To enter, you need to go to our webpage, razorcutinfo.wixsite. That's WIXSIT.com. To enter, put your name and email, and if you're the winner, we'll contact you and get you the gift card for the movies of your choice. Don't forget to check out some of our other channels for other contests. Thanks.
You know, Chris, I'm having a hard time trying to pick. What do you?
Well, I think we
suggest?
need a little help, but let's say our villain for Marvel is Rhino. You guys good with that?
Yeah, good
so
with
we
that.
need. I think we need some help picking the hero there. There's too many. So maybe the commenter, maybe some of our viewers throw down some comments on a good Marvel villain you want us, something coming up or.
Yeah, please help us out, you guys.
Anyone got a good DC hero?
Nightwing.
Oh,
yeah,
nice.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'm down for Nightwing. Yeah.
You heard it here, guys. Nightwing DC hero next time.
All right, well, we look forward to hearing from you guys. Who's going to pick next?
Audience.
Help us out. Yeah, help us out, you
Hero.
guys.
Yeah.
Or villain. DC villain audience.
All right, so let's go ahead and move over to, real quick, any movies you've seen, Chris, or shows?
Yeah, I got super surprised by Amazon and watched a Kate Beckinsale vehicle called Jolt.
Very good.
Brand new to Amazon. I was I liked it. I mean,
Anything
it's not.
with Kate Beckinsale.
I'm a big Underworld fan, too.
It's going to be decent at least.
Yeah, it was really nice to see her strap on the tight pants and go kick some butt. Yeah.
I think I'll have to watch that.
How about you, Marquez?
Also on Amazon, I watched Future War. Yeah, that was a great show.
Interesting.
Yeah, that was the guy from Guardians of the Galaxy.
What's the premise?
Chris Pratt.
Yeah, Chris Pratt. He was in it. I'm not ashamed to say I almost cried at the end.
Well, especially if you got kids, man.
Yeah.
What's the
dynamic.
premise for it? I haven't seen it.
Basically, in the future, there's these aliens that invade Earth, and their humanity is being annihilated. and they go back into the past to get soldiers to fight this war in the future.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah,
That's a
and it's-
very interesting
Yeah,
subject.
and
Yeah.
it's just there's so I'm trying not to spoil it because it's such a good movie. It's such a good premise. I had such a great time watching
J.K.
it.
Simmons
check
is
it out.
jacked.
Okay.
Yes, he is in
He's
that.
ripped, man.
Yes, and he's also the voice of Omni-Man in the Invincible series, also on
Nice.
Amazon.
Great series too.
You know,
How about you, Cameron?
Once again, I've just been keeping up on my anime right now and my crime show. So nothing too special. Just getting ready for this fall season, fall lineup of anime. That's getting ready.
And also, don't forget, you guys, that he's got his show coming up, Anime Insomniac. So we
Yep.
can go more in depth
Yes.
about those
I've
shows.
been watching Hunter x Hunter, just released on Netflix, the last season of it,
Yep.
and that's one of my favorites. So
Yep.
I love that one.
How about you, Jesse?
I actually got a couple. Masters of the Universe.
Hey,
Yeah, it's
we almost need like a segment of show dedicated to that.
yeah,
was,
that's
Kevin Smith says, "Wait."
I believe I was texting you the other
Yeah,
day
yeah,
about
we were
it.
talking about that over text.
And
Kevin
then
Smith
And,
says, "Wait."
the Rurouni Kenshin series.
The series or the
Ray.
movies?
Yeah.
I just started the.
So I watched
Prequel
Rurouni Kenshin
one.
the beginning.
I just started that. That
That
was
is,
so good.
So then the next one down the line is actually the 2012 Rurouni Kenshin movie, and then I believe
The anime
there's a-
movie.
No, there's
Oh,
5 movies
Hmm.
besides
It's a
the
great
anime.
introductory show. If you're trying to get into anime and you're really looking for something Rurouni
Well, but
Kenshin.
it's a live action.
It is a live action.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't know there was 5. I knew there was 2. I didn't realize there was
Yeah,
5
so
live
you got
actions.
Rurouni Kenshin. The beginning is because I got on the internet and saw how to watch these movies in order.
Mm.
Yeah.
So the newest one, the 2021,
Is
the
actual-
beginning is actually the first introduction into Rurouni Kenshin. So this is before the anime series.
So
Yeah.
let's start there, and
It's
then
how he
Yeah.
became.
Yeah. So then they
Okay.
have Rurouni Kenshin Part 1, and then Rurouni Kenshin Part 2, Kyoto Fire, I think.
Hmm.
And then they have the final chapter. There's a bunch of them.
The final just came out
Yeah.
as well, just before the prequel.
Well, I think
at
there's-
least it hit on
yeah.
Netflix that way.
I think there's 3, just the 2012. I think there's 3 parts, and then it goes beginning the 3 parts of the Rurouni Kenshin and the final chapter.
I've been a big fan of the same way that in the Western we've started taking comics from their cartoon from their book to their cartoon and now to movies because of technology.
right.
We've also seen that a lot with anime, which is so I've liked a lot of them. They're not all necessarily
There's,
as good as the
there's a
anime.
couple that I don't
Yeah.
like.
I've had a hard time.
I
with
liked the
live
Bleach
action
one. I thought that one was
Okay.
pretty good. That was almost.
I
I
watched.
mean, that was almost right for the first season. Like,
Okay.
I watched Death Note. Now I
didn't see
never
that
knew
one.
anything about the anime.
I didn't like Death Note.
Yeah,
I'm not a
but
big
I
fan.
like the movie because I never watched the
love
anime.
Death Note.
So
I
I,
actually-
Willem Dafoe's in that, isn't he?
yeah, I think he's the voice of
Of the main-
creature,
Yeah.
whatever.
I have a hard time with the live actions. Typically, it's kind of like a book to movie kind of thing where there's
Yeah.
typically,
Skate
but it's
over a
also
lot.
manga to anime. There's also
Yeah.
a lot that can potentially get left out unless it's One Piece, in which case they put literally everything in. That's why there's almost
Yeah.
1,000 episodes.
But
now.
I recommend Rurouni Kenshin movies.
The first I watched.
Because
I'm only like 20
Yeah.
minutes into it, and it's been really
Pretty
good so
good.
far.
Yeah, well,
I'll
because
definitely
I like how
check it
it
out.
takes, like the anime. You've seen the anime.
right.
So I like how it takes before he was, the swordsman who didn't kill
Right.
anybody to back at the Kyoto
When he
War,
was an assassin.
when he was an assassin
Yeah.
for I forget what the clan was,
remember
but they were
off
trying
the-
to take over
Shogun.
to kill the shogunate.
Good guy turned gooder,
Yeah,
basically.
literally. Yeah. So I recommend that
I'll
as
have to
well.
look into that.
Yeah, man, definitely.
Well, on my end, I've been watching on the CW. I've been following Supergirl again, trying to catch up on those
Okay.
shows. I heard
Nice.
there was a new season that came out. Been watching Jane the Virgin as well. And then on Netflix, I'm watching Jessica Jones. I'm trying to because I
Yeah.
finished up The Punisher already. I want to finish up Jessica Jones, get that wrapped up, and then after that go into because I already seen Iron Fist and Daredevil. So
Okay.
then I'm gonna go into the Defenders.
Okay.
So
Jessica Jones, my second favorite series out of all those.
It's actually
Behind
really
Daredevil.
good. I like it a lot better than was it Golden Fist or
Iron
Fist?
Yeah.
I thought the first season of Jessica Jones might have been the best full just season
Yeah.
with Kilgrave.
Yeah,
Kilgrave.
Kilgrave, yeah.
Yeah.
David
I think
Tennant,
Iron
man.
Fist started great, honestly, and then it just kind of,
Iron Fist.
I think
Yeah.
it started falling
Yeah,
off a
it just
little bit too
didn't
much
have-
for me.
I guess the first season was pretty good.
Yeah, the first season I thought was really good, and then after that, it just got progressively
I think
less.
that for me, I had such high expectations for
Right.
Iron Fist. I mean, because
Right.
I was a fan of
Wasn't he
the
kind
Heroes
of
for
fall
Hire
into the Strange universe? Like,
for a brief moment.
yeah, doesn't he kind of fall into that?
The Heroes for Hire with him and Luke Cage.
Okay.
I was a huge fan of that comic book
I really
series.
liked Luke Cage. I mean,
So
Luke Cage was great.
when they the way they portrayed the Netflix Iron Fist, it was like, oh, I was still in that phase.
A little
So it was
disheartening.
like, oh, they just, to me, they sort of fell off with that one.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, you guys. Well, hey, one last thing before we go. I just want to say that if you're into anime, please follow us on the new channel we're about to do, it's Anime Insomniac. So stay tuned on that. And also, if you're having little doubts, any questions about any movies coming up, come tune us in onto Silver Cosmo Movie Reviews. We'll give you the breakdown of that as well. So thank you again to the audience for listening in, and please feel free, any comments, write anything down on the YouTube, as well as follow us on YouTube, Spotify, iTunes, iHeart. Just follow us, and thank you for your support.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
All right,
Thanks,
we'll see you
everyone.
in the next episode.
Bye.
All right, interwebs people, have a good night. Thank you.